Did anything exciting happen today, fellas? Anything you guys want to talk about regarding the Arsenal? I mean, I know we played on Saturday, and that was good. But something else happened today. Now, you know what? I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds to think it over, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
Yes! How is it? Welcome to episode 3 of the Same Old Arsenal USA. I'm the Bearded Gooner. Next to me is Ryan. Below him is Rohan. And next to Rohan is Stan the Man. How are you, lads?
Buzzing.
Yeah, definitely excited. Part of me almost feels like we signed a new player. So that's good. Good for the team.
I wouldn't necessarily say new, but I get it. Stan?
Yeah, fantastic. Right? Well, since we last spoke, it's been pretty good for Arsenal.
I would say so. So we're going to start with the most recent news. And in case you've been living under a rock or maybe you flew to the moon today and you didn't quite get the memo. One, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang signed his contract extension with the Arsenal 3 years. I did not see financial terms disclosed. Did anybody see? There was a lot of stuff last week about he was going to be put on like 375,000 pounds or 400,000 pounds per week. Basically, I heard a report that he was going to be paid more than he who shall not be named on this show because nobody likes him. So you all know who I'm talking about. Did anybody else see that? Or I know I saw it, so I know I'm not crazy. But,
yeah, I did see that, but I also saw today that the figure was a bit lower than he who shall not be named. It was around about the 300,000, but I'm not sure whether that was just the base or whether that was the base with the bonuses and the add-ons. And
I saw 60 million over the 3 years is what he'll be paid. 60 million. So it's 20 million base per season.
Or what? Is that dollars or pounds?
Pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's 20 million pounds. That's more than Ozil because shit. It's gonna drop out of the ceiling on me or something. I never said I wasn't gonna say his name. I just said he who shall not be named. I think when you figure out his salary, he's like it's 18 million a year. So if Auba's on 20 grand or 20 million, so yeah, he's making more. And I don't know if I can't imagine that includes the bonus because how do you factor in the bonus into that? If it's a goal bonus, you have no idea how many goals he's going to score. So, all right. So reactions. Who wants to go first? How you feel?
Yeah, I'll start. I don't mind. I'll go quickly. I'm really pleased about it. Really pleased. I mean, there's a couple of reasons to be pleased because it's a good show of intent by the club, and it's a good show of intent to everybody else that we mean business. The thing is, there's no good paying there's no point in paying Aubameyang this package, whether it's 300 grand, 350 grand, or whatever it is, if you're not going to go out and support him, because on his own, he's not going to be able to take us to where we want to be. But if you're not going to back him up, by bringing in one, maybe two midfielders, which I'm sure we might talk about later. But if you're not gonna go the whole hog and back him, then there's no point in giving him that kind of a package. You may as well sell him, cash in now, and then stick with Lacazette and Eddie if that's what you want to do. So I'm really hoping that in the conversation that he had with Mikel Arteta, as I understand it, during this whole process of Aubameyang being sort of, courted by the club to extend. During that whole process, I've heard that there were 2 other clubs that haven't been named, but there were big clubs that had serious intent on trying to land him and did make serious inquiries. So, you have to take your hat off to Mikel Arteta, who's been able to convince him that, this is where he needs to be. And that I would imagine in that convincing, that would have not only just been a financial package, but also of other players that are going to come in to help complement the team, to help elevate him. He says he wants to be a legend. I take it if he wants to be a legend, he probably would rather be a legend of the Champions League than, say, the Carabao Cup. So, as long as now that we've done that part of the business by securing him, we now have to make it valuable in supporting the package that we've given him by bringing in other players to complete the job. But overall, I'm ecstatic. Yes, they did make us wait a little bit for the announcement. And, when I woke up this morning, it was probably yesterday morning and this morning were the first 2 mornings I actually didn't look at my phone straight away to see if there was an announcement, because I was so used to looking at my phone and not seeing anything. So I thought, I'm sure here. And then within half an hour of getting up, I started to see that it happened. So, yeah, great that it's all finally done and dusted.
Yeah, Rowan.
End to a long saga, this, and it feels like, I just feel somehow validated, and it's an end of a journey, I feel, for me, because like I started doing these podcasts back in February, right? And this was the first topic of discussion that we really got into, which is Aubameyang staying or going, whether he should sign up or whether he should leave, whether he should be paid 250 grand or not, whether he's going to ruin the wage structure like Ozil. And I've had plenty of debates with people all around the world regarding this topic, and I was, which side I was on, right? And this has been validated now by Arsenal. I don't care what he's being paid, because he is a world-class player. What we want is world-class players, and they come at a cost. And if we aren't a club who's constantly winning things, although we've won 2 things in the past 2 months. But, if you aren't winning the big trophies, then you have to pay a premium to keep the best players in the world. And this is a signal of intent. I think that from both parties, right? Aubameyang thinks that there is a project. He wants to be a legend and he wants to play here. And he understands that he's been here for 2.5 years and he hasn't played Champions League football. And that's where he belongs. And that's where he thinks that Arsenal belong. And that's the reason why he signed here. He knows that there can be a legacy here. He wants to stay here. And I don't think that the club would have just signed him for mega money if they weren't going to back it up with a couple of signings, because they've seen there's evidence to show that he alone cannot get us into Champions League, leave alone compete for the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of spots that we have to sort of consider. We're going to talk about those. The window is still open, but this signing is going to give confidence to incoming players. They will see that there's a project. This will have a domino effect wherein, people will recognize that Arsenal have some intent. And it was high time. We've seen year after year superstars leave. They've said the right things and they've left. They've thrown their toys out of the pram and they've left. But this is one bona fide superstar that would walk into any team in the world, and he signed with us. This is a proud moment to be an Arsenal fan.
It really is. And we're going to come back to a point that you just made, dominoes falling. But Ryan actually does have something to say this week, and I'm going to let him do that now.
I do. Before I go any further, my brand of the podcast is Alpaca Kisses, because kisses to the gods that we have tied down our best player.
I don't know. All I have for you, if you're watching right now, all I have for you, and you're watching on the replay, he's fruity. I don't know what else to say. He likes
it's actually
fruity
not.
beers.
It's not a fruity beer. It's an IPA actually. But anyways,
I'm telling you,
man, I feel like
we're missing out on a sponsorship opportunity here.
Yeah, wait. Who's the brewery?
Who is the brewery? Stillwater? Yes. Oh no, Swiftwater. Brewed in Rochester, New York. Hell yeah, boys! Shout out to them. But yeah, so I very interesting feelings about the whole Aubameyang thing. So I'm obviously happy. He's our best player. He pretty much they only won us the FA Cup. Kind of saved our season a bit. But I'll be honest. I will. In my head, he signed weeks ago. So like the announcement and everything, I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like, you know, it's over. It's done with. Like, all right, let's move on. I was kind of like, all right, I'm over this. Like, I knew he signed. I knew this was all done. Like but when you break it down as him as a player and just him for the club, he does so much for the club than just score goals. I kind of like what Stan and Rohan were saying. You know, he's a player that's gonna attract other players with his football ability and just with his off the field. I don't know if I want to say antics or just his feel good, happy go lucky, friendly attitude. Again, could be all PR, but he's always smiling when I'm looking. You know, his social media, Arsenal social media. But yeah, I think it's a big deal for us, and it should be celebrated. I'm just a bitter asshole because I had to wait so long. But you know, it's going to go a long way for us, and I think it's going to bring players in the door that really weren't sure. And I think also too, on top of that, it kind of puts more of a stamp of approval on Arteta, and it's kind of Arteta. You know, they talk about like, oh, we're a different knock, and I think Arteta making this, you know, telling, you know, kind of convincing Aubameyang, because let's face it, I do believe he had other opportunities to sign at quote unquote bigger and better clubs, but you know, he stuck with us, and I think there's something. I think there's something going on over here, and I think he's bought in, and I think Arteta has brilliantly laid out his plans, and I think he's going to brilliantly lay out his plans for all the other potential people that are going to come here. And you know, let's face it. I mean, you know, when you're looking at clubs and clubs are coming knocking for you, Arteta's plans are all great in theory and on paper, but we have a physical player. He's not a physical player, but he's a person. In Aubameyang that's going to score goals, and he. I'm not saying he's going to win us the league, but he pretty much won us an FA Cup. You know, was it 6 goals in 3 games? Like, you know, he's doing his thing. So I think it's very good overall for Arteta, for the club, and I also just can't wait to see what else is in store for us, because I do now, after all this is finally over with, we're not done. The window, we push on, the window is still open. We're going to make at least one more big signing, I do believe. So,
yeah. So real quick, I don't really have anything to add here. I got to be honest with you. I'm glad it's over. I was ecstatic when I saw it this morning. I absolutely couldn't wait to see the video, or you know, however they decided to announce the signing. So I'm going to lead into my next question with that, because I actually really liked the way that they decided to do this with sort of a live thing. And it was, and you know what, you can tell that it wasn't scripted. At least I don't think. If it was scripted, Aubameyang has a career in acting, Stan, as soon as he's done playing football, because
hook him up, Stan. Hook him up.
You could see he was oozing nervousness being on the camera, you know, trying to do I assume what it was Instagram Live. And I was like, I want to go to Instagram. I want to switch over to Instagram and watch him over there. Like, I want to see that, but I don't want to stop watching what's on the club website but creative. And you know what? It's quite frankly, it's low production value, because you could hear them fiddling with the camera and the mic and I'm all right with that. You know what? Because it was genuine. What's that, Stan?
It sounded like someone was rustling a crisp packet off behind the camera at one point.
Yeah. You know,
go ahead, Rob.
Something that I liked about it, and not to put any sort of downer on the situation, you know, the fact that, I mean, whatever money he's making because he's a talented footballer, and footballers have very small careers, and he's sort of at at the end of his career or reaching that twilight of his career, right now. But I thought this was some respect shown to some of the people who have lost their jobs, who are not doing well in this situation, that we haven't spent, $1 million to go out and make a fancy video, but just went live and did a thing with like 3 props there. I just felt that was good. It was,
we can afford.
all that we could. We've blown everything on him. Now
Yeah.
we can't afford everything.
Yeah. We didn't have enough money left over for full production value. So yeah, I liked what they did. I really did. I thought it was tremendous, and it was, what it was. It was also nice to see, because it made him real. You know what I mean? These guys, professional athletes, and not just footballers, but in any sport, get put up on such a pedestal by a lot of people, and you almost don't. They're larger than life. You know what I mean? And this really kind of brought him down, I think, to a very personal level with the fan base, to see him on his phone, kind of walking around. He's nervous because he knows there's another camera on him, and it really, I think, more than anything else, I think it connected with the fan base.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, man. I was, when it was done, and I was like, that was awesome. And then there is a video for anybody that hasn't seen it. It's about a minute and 16 seconds long. There is an actual produced video of him, and the video is tremendous too. That was absolutely phenomenal. For anybody that hasn't seen it, go look that up as well. But yeah, I just really think it connected with the fan base. So, Stan, what did you? I hope this is right up your alley, man. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I clicked onto it, I didn't watch it live as it happened. So when I heard the news and I went to the Arsenal YouTube channel, I saw that it was there, and I clicked on it, and it was like over 2 hours and something long, right? And one night I was like, "Oh, it's like a feature film," but it was just the Arsenal time.
Yeah.
But for like an hour and 45 minutes of that, and then it cut to the changing room, and then it was the hourglass, and then it was. It seemed like another eternity. Then it was like the armband. Then it was another eternity. Then it was the Black Panther mask and all that.
Yeah,
and I mean, I don't want to be a party pooper, but I wasn't overly blown away with the actual video, and I was the same with the Gabrielle. I'm just glad that he's put pen to paper. He could have jumped out naked from a cake for all I cared, waving flags, Arsenal flags. I'm just glad that it's in the bag and it's done, So yeah, I mean, I just echo. I mean, I'm surprised I'm even going to say this. I'm actually going to agree with everything that Ryan said, and obviously Rohan. But yeah, it's probably the most important bit of business that we're going to do in this window, I think, because of the message that it sends out of what we're about. Because for so long, we've near enough given away our best players. It's not like we've done what Liverpool does and we've sold someone for over 100 million and rebuilt the whole team. It always seems like we've had our pants pulled down, got pennies on the dollar, or been shoved another player coming the other way that we've had to try and make do with. So I'm glad to see us acting like one of the big boys now.
Yeah, spot on. Ryan, what do you think of the, I guess, just the way that it all kind of went down?
My first thought, and shout out to my big brother who's listening, Max. His dad was in the video, and his dad was wearing the nicest kit we've ever put out. The 3rd kit this season, that blue kit, baby. Woo! No, I'm kidding, because I know.
We got our first woo of the show. I don't think any of us have wooed on this show yet. And Stan, I think we're going to have to teach Ryan how to woo when we're done here.
Okay.
Woo! No, but
there you go.
I kid because I know Max hates the kit and he thinks we're Chelsea, even though our kit is like clearly navy blue and Chelsea are like royal blue. But that's not the point. I will be ordering my 3rd kit soon though, Max. So you better be ready. I'm going to be wearing it on our ArseBros show. But yeah, I mean, the video was good. I like the idea behind it. I'm also kind of on board with Stan too. Like, okay, it didn't blow my skirt up, you know. I'm happy it's over. But that's a cat joke. And
I was like, is that a snake there?
Yeah.
And why is Stan so?
Or are you just happy to see me?
yeah, no, it's exciting, I guess. I think the video also it's almost, you know, trying to bring the fans, the team, and everybody together. I guess I'm just cynical, and I don't that the fan base is always going to be divisive. The fan base is always going to be at odds with some player or some situation going on in the club. But I do like the sentiment, and it was interesting. But like I said, we signed him. It's official. Let's bring in some fresh blood. You know, let's have AUBAMEYANG hand off that camera on Instagram Live to, you know, a Partey or an LR, and kind of really bring in the fans and really kind of crazy this whole announcement up.
So real quick, a few housekeeping things. 67 of you are watching live right now. Really appreciate that, guys. Thank you, everyone in the chat box right now. Really appreciate it. Keep the comments coming. Do me a favor, smash the like button, smash the unlike, smash that thumbs down button too. If you don't like something or you just want to be different, that's fine. I get wanting to be different. So that's why I have that's why I have no hair up here and all the hair right here. I couldn't figure it out. But please drop a like, drop a subscription here at the Same Old Arsenal YouTube channel. We're trying to get up to 10,000 subscribers, and we just crossed 9,500 last night. So please hit the like button or the unlike button, and subscribe to the site or to the channel as well. Also, any questions, try to keep it pertinent to what we're talking about right now if you can, and I'll try my best to make sure I get them up on the screen and we can answer. We are going to, at the end of the show, reserve 10, maybe 15 minutes, might be pushing a little bit, but I'd say roughly 10 minutes we're going to reserve at the end of the show to try to answer as many questions as we can. So any questions you have, and it's free game. It'll be ask the panel anything. The only thing I ask, if you're going to ask a question, do me a favor, tell us where you're from so we can shout you out. Prabhu, hi from India. I see that. That's exactly what I want you guys to do. So ask your question and just give us a shout out as to where you're from. On that note, we're going to move on. And Rohan, something that you said when you were talking about how you feel is the domino effect that this should have on incoming signings. We need to build around him now. So I'm very hopeful that dominoes are going to start to fall here. So obviously the only other two targets that are out there now that we're hearing are Thomas Partey and Houssam Aouar. So Partey that lasts for about an hour. Is that any good? I don't know.
What about a goalie from Iceland? Wow.
I don't know, man. Did you see what he said about? Did you see the things about Wenger?
No, I don't.
I don't know how I feel about this kid.
I mean, I'm sure we might get into it later.
Basically called Arsene Wenger stupid. Look it up on Twitter. I'm not going to get into this kid.
Okay.
Whatever. You can look it up on your own, but it's out there. If it's real or not, I have no idea. It could, for all I know, it could be fake. But
okay.
So yeah. How confident are we that this is going to get the dominoes to start to fall here? Because Edu did say, I think there was a statement from him today that said this isn't the end. That there's going to be more business done. So how confident are we that this is going to get done?
It has to be, right? I mean, we have to be confident now, given that we splashed the cash, and unless these guys are stupid, that they know now that we have a serious manager at a club, and we've got a world-class player who's dragged us to two trophies, let's say, in the past 2 months. Then but this guy hasn't been able to get us into the Champions League. So there's no point in signing him up if we want to sort of continue that level. So we have to go in and get there. And the timing is interesting that they didn't wait for this signing until the end of the window. They've done it a couple of weeks before the window closes, so now that's given some time to sort of influence the decisions, and it's essential. Anybody can see it. I know that we will be talking about the game that went by, in which we did really well, but and our midfield did quite well, I think. But that midfield is not going to last us through the season, and if we can see it, everybody else can see it, and it has to be. I'm just talking plain logic. It's not like I'm Fabrizio Romano who knows what's happening. I don't, but logic says that that this is how we should proceed.
Yeah. I couldn't really say it better myself, but I will. So yeah, the dominoes. The answer to your question, Tannor, is yes. The dominoes are going to fall. I propose more so which dominoes will fall, and I think the most important domino that is falling right now is our mentality. And shout out to Ray Anderson in the chat who brought it up. And our mentality is changing, and you could see it. I think El Nene, yeah, I'm gonna keep calling him El Nene because I love it. He brought it up on Twitter, he was interviewed and then he posted it on Twitter, just essentially saying that players used to not give 100%. They used to not really care so much. Now, the tides are slowly turning. We're starting to care. And for me, for someone to say that wasn't even at the club last year, that was loaned out to Turkey, was having trouble getting into the team. And really, the only reason why he is getting into the team is just because of sheer numbers. But hey, I love him, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. But yeah, I mean, I think that's big, and I do think with this mentality domino, for talking straight dominoes. But I think that's a big thing too with the Aubameyang signing because players talk. Players go out on international duty, and players are just friends with each other. So people talk, and I think mentality spreads, and I think mentality obviously breeds success. But you could see it. I mean, you talk to players, you talk about your clubs. When you're like I said, when you're on international duty or doing whatever, it spreads, and you also tend to, things are good where you are. You want to call people up, be like, hey, come play for us. I mean, bad example, but it came out that David Luiz and Willian were talking to Oscar and saying, Oscar, come here, man. Look, we're doing good, baby. Come on over. The water's just fine. Now, do I want Oscar in an Arsenal shirt? Hell no. But again, you have these players talking, and it's almost like you're not. The best way I can describe it would just be, you're out with your friends, and your parents call, hey, Ryan, come on, what are you doing? Most kids get embarrassed with their parents, like, I don't know who that is. That's not my parents. I don't know. The fucking crazy old people from next door. But I think we're turning a corner where, you're like, oh, it's my mom and dad. They're hilarious. Love them, whatever. Which, shout out to my mom and dad because they are hilarious and I love them. But, it is what it is. I think this is a big domino in mentality. I know we don't talk about it enough. And thank you for Ray for giving me this little rant of mine about how our mentality is changing. And I love it. And I can't wait to see what this brings for us, just in sheer points in the league and trophies, because it will. It's gonna change a lot whether we bring players in or not. Because obviously we're not winning the league, we're not doing anything unless we bring more players in. But I think with this team now, I'm confident that we could do things that we normally didn't think we could do before as a club.
Stan, go ahead. I want to give you your say on this, and then Jorge, we're going to come to your question as soon as Stan's done. Sorry, Stan, go ahead.
Talking about dominoes falling, and for me, I'm thinking about, if you're asking the question, does Aubameyang, re-signing with us, is that going to sort of like trigger other signings coming in? And I'm not sure if it will, because the players that we're interested in, I think it's obvious that given the chance, the players would come in a heartbeat. I think Arsenal have already done the sounding out part with both Partey and Thomas Auba. I think Arsenal understand that both would like the move, but it's whether we can get the outgoings to bring in that money. And I think now that we've tied up the AUBAMEYANG deal, that's going to be Arsenal's focus now, is getting rid of some of the deadwood wood that we're carrying. I mean, you know, we hear that the Martinez deal now is done. He's going to Villa, but some of that money is going to have to probably be reinvested in a backup goalkeeper. It doesn't sound like the club are going to let Matt Macy or even, I think, the third backup, Iliev, sort of like be on the bench. So that some of that may have to be reinvested. I would tend to be looking at a goalkeeper that is on his downward of his trajectory, so that he's very cheap, maybe even on a free. He's more of a bench warmer and cup games, rather than paying out money for someone to really battle Leno. Because I think if you're going to do that, then you would have somehow tried to coax Martinez to stay and say to him, well, if you want to fight for your place, the opportunity is there if you can show me. So it looks like the club are putting all of their eggs into the Leno basket. But we should be able to sell enough, I think. I mean, look, if you're talking cash on the table, 100 million is going to get it done. 100 million will get you both Thomas Partey and Auba. That's round about what it is to get them, 50 million each. So if we can bring in at least enough to cover one, and I think the most important one, in my opinion, out of the two is Thomas Partey, because I think it would be addressing a position that we've never really solidly addressed for the long term since Gilberto Silva. We've had a couple of players that have slotted in there and covered. You know, we've had Song in there, we've had Coquelin in there, but long term, I think it's something that we need to get done. And I think that we've got other players that we could use in our role if we could only afford the one. But maybe if we could bring in the 50 million that we need to get, say, Partey, and then cobble together some change and see if our team would allow us to sort of like do one of our famous, you know, we put a fiver down now and we'll pay you a tenner a week for the next however many years it's going to be. And there could be a way to bring both players in. Because for me, you know, if we were to stay where we are now and we don't bring in any others, I would say that it's been an okay window. I think if we brought in one of Auba or Partey, I would then say it was a good window. If we could bring in both of them, I would say that was a very good window. But I'm going to be a little bit greedy, because there was, for me, I think that 3 players would be a 10 out of 10 for me. If there was I'd like to bring in a third as well. And I know I'm being greedy. And if there was any opportunity that we could somehow rotate Lacazette out and bring someone in to take Lacazette's place, along with Auba and Partey, and I'm thinking, you know who I'm talking about. I like the lad up at Celtic. If we could pull off all of those 3, and I know that I'm being greedy, but that would be out of sight, man. You know, that's like 11 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
That's 11 out of 10. So if we could bring in one of Partey at Auba, I'd be happy with that. And then, you know, try to do what we can in January to get what else we need.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking that right now, in the summer, we haven't done that much activity, but like just thinking about what we've done, and maybe I'm going a bit back in time. Some players were still here, but just looking at it, we've got Gabriel, Saliba who's come in, so 2 centre backs. We've got Ceballos who's come back, which is a big coup, in my opinion. You know, given how he was playing since the restart. Cedric, don't forget him. We've signed him on a permanent deal now, so he's as good as a new signing for us. We've got AUBAMEYANG who signed up for us, and Partey and Auba. Like if we just get these 2 over the line,
Pablo Mari as well was another one.
Pablo Mari as well. Like just think about it. It's 8 players who we're talking about, genuine first team, in and around the first team players. We aren't talking about a Rio Miyachi or, you know, somebody like that. You know, we're talking about genuine top players, and you know that has me excited. I in no means am I saying that we're going to challenge for the league, but I'm just thinking about it right now, and I'm not going to lie. I've just thought about it right now that I was bigging up Chelsea's transfer window so much. If we pull off these two midfielders, we've got a transfer window as good as them.
Yeah. It's comparable. It's definitely comparable, I think, if we get those 2 in.
So I want to go back to
better. We'll have a better trade than Chelsea because, I know I'm in the minority of this, but they're bringing all these different pieces in. We do not know if these pieces are going to fit in the same puzzle together. We don't know how this is going to work, but we do know about Ceballos. We do know about AUBAMEYANG. And like I said, I'm going to probably harp on this for the rest of the season as long as we keep it going with this mentality thing. I think this mentality thing is going to make our puzzle, I don't know, like not be a puzzle or like more for something. So like we could bring in players and it's just easier to like, put them in the lineup and it's just easier to get along with everybody. And I think, just splashing the cash, what Chelsea does, just throwing money at players, bringing them in and having a manager that I honestly don't think is as competent as people think he is. I don't know. I'm not hard. I'm not, again, shout out to you, Max, stroking Chelsea's, we'll say ego, saying they're going to come in second place or and also shout out to the Clock End Talk that he's on. Good podcast. They did a preview and Max had them, I think, second. They're going to come in second. And I mean, who knows? They could, anything could happen, but I don't think so. I think we have the better coach. We're smarter about spending money. And like I said, we're getting Ceballos. We know what he's about. He's already been integrated with the club. AUBAMEYANG extension already integrated with the club. So I think we kind of have a leg up. And if we make more signings, then even better. But we definitely need to make signings.
Couple of things real quick. I want to hit Jorge's question. One word answer. And I think all of our answers are going to be the same on this. But do we think that AUBAMEYANG was promised reinforcements by Arteta, which is what got him, which maybe that was the final piece of the extension puzzle. I, for one, yes, I think AUBAMEYANG was promised reinforcements. I think he was given certain guarantees that, yes, we're going to improve this team. Anyone disagree with that?
That's a nice one-word answer you just gave, Tannor. Appreciate it.
No, I meant for you guys. I'm allowed to talk all I want. So.
Oh! Excuse me. Sorry, Master.
I mean, look, he must have, right? Because there's no way I would have re-signed the contract if I knew that I was headed into the next season with Mustafi, Socrates, Ozil, all these people. I would have been like, nah.
Yeah.
Like he must have been given, some assurances that he was going to get help and quality help.
Yeah, I think I think he was more or less maybe he got a seat at the big kids table, meaning, I think maybe he sat in on a conversation between Arteta and Edu, kind of going over who they want, going over how they're going to get him, and kind of laid out a plan of how to execute these transfers. And I think AUBAMEYANG just was convinced, and I think Arteta laid out a good plan, I think, just for the season. And I think like I said, I think Arteta kind of gave him a little inside scoop, a little seat at the big kids table, like, hey, listen to this conversation. We're gonna go over why we're gonna bring in players like X, Y, and Z. And yeah, I think that's just the nature of the business.
A lot of good questions in the chat, guys, and I do want to move on here to a bit of the recap of Fulham. Talk briefly about West Ham. You know what? Let's get the West Ham preview out of the way. I know it's kind of backwards, but this is going to be quick. Man, West Ham are bad. They're bad. They're bad.
They're banging trouble.
I said
they're banging trouble. They can't buy a goal, and I think Jack Wilshere's played 18 games for them in total in the time he's been there, and he can't get a look in either. I think they're looking to pay him out, aren't they? I mean, what's happening there?
Yeah.
I'll let you guys take this over. Just give you my thoughts real quick. I just think West Ham are so unbelievably out of form. It would be an absolute nightmare if we don't bury them. So it would be an absolute nightmare if we don't bury them. So West Ham, I think this is going to be the last of my analysis or preview on this match. I think West Ham are getting relegated this year. That's how bad I think they are. I think they're getting relegated this year. So, floor is yours, guys, on preview of West Ham before we move on to a recap of the Fulham match. Go.
All right. So I said previously Fulham are going to finish 20th, and I'm going to say West Ham are going to finish 19th. They're bad. They do have pieces that intrigue me. Declan Rice, Antonio. Felipe Anderson had a good half season. He's all right. And also, Fabianski tends to play us pretty well. So I don't know. So I'm not going to completely write them off and say that they have no chance of beating us because, things do happen. But, yeah, like I said, things happen. But again, the mentality, the way we're playing, the way we kind of, last season, 2 seasons ago, as watching Arsenal play, they'll go up a goal and they'll kind of like hesitate to put their foot on the gas. They'll be like, "Oh, hold on, game's not over yet. We gotta see what's going on." Kind of steering the wheel back and forth, trying to stay on the road. But I think now, and I know we're going to talk about the Fulham game, but I will preview that by saying we did not let off the gas against Fulham. We scored 1, we scored 2, and we kept that foot on. We kept our heavy lead foot on that gas. So with that being said, I could see West Ham scoring against us, which is strange because Fulham's strength was their attack. But we're going to win. I'm watching us against Fulham gave me all the confidence in the world that I think we could beat anybody, So, but I wouldn't put it past West Ham to have like a Declan Rice worldie for like one of their they'll score 1. It'll be like a Declan Rice worldie or like a Mikel Antonio like bicycle kick, just cause. But I agree with what you said, Tannor. We should, and I think we will bury them.
Rowan
is frozen.
Did he freeze? Oh, all right. Rowan froze.
I thought he was just hanging off your every word, Ryan. Obviously not.
Stan, go ahead.
But yeah, they're in free fall, aren't they? I mean, they can't buy a goal. I mean, Noble. I mean, he's like their West Ham. You cut him, he bleeds West Ham. He was sort of like talking on Twitter about him. And again, it's just like what Ryan is saying. Mentality plays a big part in it. And right now, when it comes to Arsenal, I think that we're a team that has a really good togetherness. The scuffle between Sabas and Eddie, that was nothing. But I mean, if you've been watching, for example, the Tottenham documentary, and you've seen some of the infighting now, what I'm seeing is maybe this happens at all clubs. What I'm seeing on the Tottenham video, because we don't get a look into the changing room like we're getting. But the thing is, we all know that it definitely happens at Tottenham. Do you see the difference? Yeah, and I don't believe right now that in Arsenal's dressing room it's as disharmonious as it is in Tottenham's and say West Ham's. And that's something that's going to give us the edge, because it would appear that West Ham at the moment, there's no self-belief. And I would imagine that when they come in at halftime and when they come in at full time, that the conversations between the players is really similar to what you're seeing on that Tottenham documentary. A lot of infighting, a lot of blaming. There's no belief, and I've got a feeling that this game could be one where this is going to be a good game for players to bulk up their goal average for the season.
And I want to.
Sorry, I was going to say real quick. I like what you said, Stan, about the West Ham players not believing, which is funny too, because if you said maybe last season, 2 seasons ago, I think Mark Noble is West Ham through and through, and he's a very good leader, a very good captain. I mean, I don't know that obviously firsthand. I'm not in the dressing room with them, but he just seems like a no nonsense type of player, and just a leader on the field and probably off the field. So for them to be in such a dire situation that they're in, I mean, they're there for the taking, and we need to just
they're probably they're in a place where I imagine that Arsenal was under Unai Emery. You're coming in at halftime. You're throwing your shin pads down. You're pointing fingers at each other. There's little scuffles. There's lots of heated arguments.
Are you comparing Mark Noble to Granit Xhaka? How dare you?
But, I mean, when you got a team that's in that kind of disarray, now's your perfect chance to pick them off. So it'd be even damning if we can't get a result at West Ham. We know that all is not well.
Right.
So you capitalize on that. Kick a man when he's down, literally.
Yeah, this is a great point by Thomas Morgan. Important to kill these teams off and score a few, helps in the goal difference as well as the points, just in case for when we come up against the bigger teams, in case we hit a blip. 100%. Look through the fixture list and find those stretches where you can stack points and quite frankly stack goals for the goal difference, because that is so important. And I think, honest to God, at the end of the season, the goal difference is going to come into play. I think it could really be a thing at the end of the season for us going for top 4. It's important. We just crossed 80 live viewers at one time, guys, and I do think that's a record. I don't think we hit 80 on the
81, baby. No.
Well, we were just at 82, so I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's watching live right now. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the show. And let me get this in real quick, guys. We did get a super chat. TD Shifts. I love your work, guys. I'm so happy AUBAMEYANG has signed the Ting, and I love your vids. Are you going to sign the thing to keep going? Hey, listen, man, we're here as long as the boys across the pond will have us. So
my agent's talking to their agents right now for an extension.
Yeah, I don't have an agent. I'm not that good at this.
Video, a whole spread. It's gonna be great.
With me, it's a little bit different. Craig has my children locked in his basement, so I have to keep doing the show.
That's so weird. That's so weird. Anyway, TD Shifts, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. So, Rohan, you kind of froze up on us. Thoughts on West Ham, real quick.
I mean, I could hear what you guys were saying, but Ryan was making such brilliant points that I couldn't move. It just put me in. It just froze me up, right? So yeah, I absolutely agree with what everybody has said here, right? Like what I've said even before. It's 3 points, and you beat Liverpool or Man City, you get 3 points. You beat West Ham or whoever else, you get 3 points. This is 3 vital points, and we have a difficult run of fixtures coming up. Let's not forget that. We've got a lot of away runs coming up in October. October is going to be the real test for us. So we can't take anything for granted right now. Going into the Liverpool game, if we've got 6 points, we can sort of go in with a plan. If things were to go bad, then it's not the end of the world. If we get a draw, it's good. If we get a win, it's great. But if we lose this one, and then we lack confidence and we go into Liverpool and we lose that one, then all of a sudden there's a downer. We've got 3 points out of 9. So this one is just as important as any of the other big ones. And in fact, this one will give us confidence going into this big run of fixtures. And generally, I think we've done well against West Ham. West Ham did pick up at the end of last season when they were fighting relegation. Now they're not. Now they think like they've achieved something, and they can sell their good players to Newcastle or whoever, and they can still survive. And Moyes is a genius or something. That's not happening. This is the time that we slap them up. I remember the time when Sanchez played them and scored a hat-trick or something. It was great, and that's what I want. This is our first home game. Obviously, there's no crowd there, but this is our first home game, season opener. We've got to be strong at home, And then if we improve our away record, we can make moves in the Premier League. And let's not forget, last season, 3rd and 4th was decided on goal difference. That just emphasizes how much goal difference matters. So I absolutely agree with whatever you guys have said and whatever brilliant points were made in the chat box itself. We've got to take this with utmost professionalism. That's what we need.
And then I think, sorry, go Rohan. Sorry.
No, that's it.
I just want to make one quick point about the West Ham game, and I'm done because I don't want to talk about 19th place anymore. But
But you're going to.
Yeah, I said I don't want. Yeah, but I want to make one point. And I don't want to talk about the Arsenal of old because I think we got our training bra. We're like a new girl out on the town doing our thing. But a year ago, 2 years ago, someone like Sebastian Haller, who was their striker, tall, physical, dangerous. Someone that would give us a lot of problems. But again, I don't want to talk about the Fulham game yet, but someone like Gabriel, who's really came into his own, tall, physical, and I'm not scared. I'm not scared of him. Someone like him, maybe put in a goal, we'll go one down to a team that we shouldn't be losing to, obviously. but just we've came such a long way, and I'm just excited to. I was gonna say see that training, bro, but I don't want to see. We're doing good, and I want to keep it going. Yeah, I know.
I was doing this because I wanted you to bleed in to recapping the match. So
segues a couple days ago.
Well, here we go. If you would have kept your mouth shut, Rowan had a great segue, but then you had to screw it up. So this is what you get. You get a little bit of the banter at this show. We're not all.
Listen, my segue was better than both of theirs, but you'll never know now. So
we all lose.
We all lose. So this is going to be the segue into Fulham, and Lawrence from LA, and I believe you said you're from Cockfosters originally, Lawrence and Ryan. Go ahead and laugh like a little freaking girl.
That's a real place, by the way. That is a real
place. It is at the end of the Piccadilly line in North London. For crying out loud, my God, this is you're like a 13-year-old.
Okay. To be fair, I'm sorry, but shout out to my dad. He instilled this humor in me. So my one friend, he lived off a street called Woodcock, right? Every time we passed by that street,
you loved that.
Every time we passed by that street, my dad would go, Woodcock. What kind of street is Woodcock? And I was probably like 6th grade. I got my dad's humor, but I love it. So
all right. So Lawrence, thank you very much, man, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. In LA now. So did we see the Ceballos and Ketia fracas? I did, yes. And I'll give you my theory on this real quick. I think it was a little bit of just frustration at not being named in the starting 11. I don't think there's anything to see there. And listen, I think a little bit of jousting, if you will, like that is good. I like seeing fire. I like seeing passion. And if you're not getting named in the starting 11, I like seeing a little fire that you want to stir things up and you want to fight for your spot. So I'm not horribly put off by that at all. Gentlemen, go ahead. We do have another super chat here. So go ahead, guys, and I'll bring this other one up.
No, I mean, you hit it perfectly. I think it was at first I was like, oh boy, but then you think about it, you look into it, and you're just like, you know what? They're fighting to be in the team, and if Laka doesn't want to perform, he wants to, not do what he's supposed to do. Eddie's like, I'm chomping at the bit. And hey, Ceballos was kind of like our midfielder last season, kind of doing his thing. Now we have El Nene. I don't know. But yeah, so they're going to be angry. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to be fired up. I love this. As long as no one's getting hurt, I love it. And, also, too, to end the story, they came out on Instagram. We're brothers like that. All is well, and that's what's happened. Teams are going to fight, the Invincibles. And when they were doing so well, there was talk about dust-ups all the time. Like, I love it. It's passion, and that's something we've lacked for so long, and you love to see it.
Yeah. Stan, go ahead. Thoughts on the dust-up?
Handbags at 10 paces, basically. And that's it. Bit of flower arrangement.
I like that.
That's all it was.
I got to write that one down. Rowan?
Can you guys hear me right now?
I can hear you. You froze. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So if you can hear me, I'm just going to go on. That you'd rather have players concerned that they're not in the starting 11 rather than them sitting at home and playing Fortnite, right? I mean, that's what it's.
Yeah.
That's what the mentality is about, and that's what they have to prove.
Yeah. TD Shifts, again, thank you very much for your kind donation. Really appreciate that. If we get Partey and Alwar, are we winning the league under this manager? And I'm currently watching from Sydney, Australia. Hey, Max, shout out down under, mate. That was bad. I'm not good at accents. I'm great at a Pittsburgh accent. So whenever you guys see on Twitter that I say Yins better tune in, it's a Pittsburgh thing. Folks in Pittsburgh say Yins. It's like you all. Yins.
That's all part of the Scottish thing as well, by the way. Just so you know.
Yins? Is it really?
Yeah. Yin,
huh.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like, because there's a big Polish population here, so that's what I thought it was.
Billy Connolly, the old Scottish comedian, was known as the Big Yin. But there you go.
The Big Yin. Interesting. Yeah. All right. So TD Shifts, I was actually going to ask this question a little later on, but since we're here, we'll get into it. do we think, and I'm going to assume you mean this year, do we think that with Partey and Aouar that we could win the league under Mikel Arteta? And my simple answer is yes.
What? Okay.
Really? Okay. I wasn't
right,
expecting that.
I think.
Go.
I think just real quick, I think Liverpool and Man City are going to come back to the pack a little bit. And I think there's going to be a little underestimation of Arsenal just because of last season. And I think we're going to sneak up on some of the bigger clubs. But I think Mikel Arteta has the mentality in this side now that you go to the teams you should beat and you pummel them. You beat them 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-1. That's what you do. And that's how you win the league. I think with Partey and Aouar, it's not one or the other. It's both. We get both of these players in, we're title contenders.
Okay,
you heard it here first.
I mean, I love the enthusiasm there, and who wouldn't want that, right? Like, this is the first time that we've been top of the league since that Leicester game in February 2016, right? So there is good mood here, and we'd all want to win the league. It's been way too long, right, for Arsenal. But I've got to be fair. This is what I told my friend who's a Chelsea fan who have done really well in this transfer window. That I said that, to win the league, you probably have to come a close second before that. You have to slowly get towards the league. Leicester is obviously it's an anomaly, and you don't expect that to happen again. But, winning the league, winning 38, out of 38 games to be, the champions requires not just technical skill, but also mental skill. It requires game management, season management. There's just so many aspects to it. And, I don't think that we have the experience now to be doing that. So, for me, I would think that, a good challenge till the end of March maybe is a good season for us, as long as we have a good run in the Europa League. We're securing Champions League football. FA Cup is ours anyway. They might as well just give it to us. So all of this is good. And then the aim should be that next season we should be challenging seriously. When Arteta's got 3 transfer windows under his belt, that's when I would really look at who wouldn't love for us to challenge this season. But I think that's just asking for a bit much, my opinion. Though.
Stan?
I think if we got those 2 in, that we would definitely be able to challenge for a Champions League place. I think that we would have that in us. But I just think that maybe because the amount of players that we would have brought in, it's going to take a while for maybe the manager to find his ultimate best team for right matches. And then there's obviously going to be a time for players to actually settle as well. Someone like William Saliba is going to take a little time to settle. At some point, if those 2 come in, we may see a transition from the formation that even though we're playing between formations in games, but we'll probably have more of a solid base of a back 4. So again, transitioning from what we play now to a back 4 could take a little bit of time as well. So I think challenging for the actual to win the Premier League might be a little bit ambitious. Obviously, I'd love it, but I definitely think that we should have enough about us to get back into the big table in Europe.
Ryan, am I crazy?
Okay, I do not want to tits. I do not want to twist TD Shifts' comment, but this year, no, because he didn't say this year. He said we will win the league with Arteta, with Aouar, with Partey. I agree. I think Partey and Aouar can win us the league this season. No, didn't say. Yeah, see, read that. Not this year. So he can. And I don't want to bring this up, but they have the quality to be starting 11 players to win us the league. And I, like I said, I want to bring this up. I don't want to bring up Granit Xhaka, but I'm going to bring up Granit Xhaka. Our best finish with Granit Xhaka since we signed him is 5th place. And people love him. He's great. He's amazing. He's this, he's that. I'm not, I have in a way have come around, and I'm not completely anti-Xhaka anymore, but he's
someone
not,
who is.
Okay, yeah. But I don't think he's not terrible, but he's not someone that's going to win the league for us. Someone like a Partey or an Alwar, I think they can fit into our lineup right away. Yeah, there it is, Ben. There it is, Ben. But yeah, so
I love doing that to you.
I'm seeing it.
But yeah, no. So like this season, no. Like Rohan said it perfectly. No, but we need to build, and we're gonna build. But those two players I think, could definitely be in our lineup. And the comment didn't even say in our starting lineup, but I do. I think they're quality enough to win us the league. Someone like a Xhaka or I'll call him Mo. Well, no, because Mo and Nene. I'll just say Ozil, whatever. They're probably positionally the comparable players to Alwar and Partey, but they're not going to win us the league. But I whatever. Call me positive, which I'm normally not. So this is really weird, but yeah, I do see us with them in the team winning the league under Arteta. Today, tomorrow, this year, no. I don't think so. We gotta, like Rohan said, we gotta build. We gotta slowly but surely get there. And I think we need like 1 or 2 more transfer windows to kind of get there.
Okay. Fair. All right. So let's get into Fulham real quick. Let's spend about 10 minutes on Fulham. At this point, I guess, Rohan, I'm going to throw it to you. Give me 2 or 3 minutes, your take on the Fulham match. Did he freeze again?
Absolutely
there it is.
ecstatic with the way. Yeah, so absolutely ecstatic with the way that we started. Getting a goal early. Playing out from the back like that. El Nene in form like that. The way that we're playing with our center backs. My preferred formation is not to play a 3 at the back, but the way that we play with Tierney was almost playing as left back, and Maitland-Niles was playing in field, and Gabriel was great with his debut, and we didn't take our foot off the pedal. We kept going, and AUBAMEYANG, he's become the new Henry, hasn't he? Like, he's essentially, whenever the ball goes out on the left and he takes it on the right, what's going to happen, and he's just become so much more clinical from that spot. It's amazing, and great start for Willian. He could be a really good purchase for us. I was excited to see the way he played. It seems like he's taken the form from the end of last season into this game. All I hope is, because this game reminded me of Mkhitaryan's debut, which was against Everton, in which he had 3 assists in that game, a hat-trick of assists, and that's the same that Willian had at this game. So, I'm just talking about omens, and hopefully, Willian is going to be a better signing for us than Michi was. But, all in all, it was a great game. I enjoyed it. I rewatched it. I like the fact that we ended the game with a goal difference of +3 that put us on top of the league. Great stuff. Nothing to complain about.
I'm going to butcher this. Simranjeet. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that. If I Simranjeet. I'm very sorry if I butchered that, but thank you very much, man. Yeah, we want Arsenal fans from all over the world to watch us, just because it says USA, stands in Canada, so it's more North America. But we want as many people watching around the world as possible. So thank you very much for the kind donation. Really appreciate that. Stan, sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm going to refer to him as Mr. Singh. It's a lot easier. I'm not going to.
There we go.
Mr. Singh's first name, but thank you very much for your super chat. You know what? Looking at the Fulham game, and even going back towards the end of last season, what I'm beginning to notice watching Arsenal under Mikel Arteta is that my heart isn't beating 10 to the dozen throughout the game. And to expand on that, when David Luiz and people like Mustafi, just to give 2 examples, of the shitbag six. There's a shitbag six. That's another story. I won't go through all of them now. But when they're not in the team, I noticed that I was watching a Fulham game, and I noticed that I was quite relaxed watching it. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to having that feeling where, you know, you're running around with a grenade in your hand, but you haven't got the pin. And you know that the slightest fuck up, that grenade's going to go up in your face. And that's how I felt watching Arsenal through the Emery phase, you know, towards maybe the beginning of the Arteta era as well, you know, with the Man City game and some of the performances of David Luiz. So the first thing is really relaxed and calm watching that Fulham game, which I liked. But the other thing is that I'm actually beginning to notice a style of play. You know, watching Arsenal play under Unai Emery, I wasn't really sure what it is that what we were trying to do, and I'm beginning to see it now under Mikel Arteta, and it can be quite deceiving when you get the pre-match lineup and you see the way that we've been set out, because we don't stick to a normal one formation throughout the game. Sometimes we kind of go between three formations. You know, when we're on the ball and when we're off the ball, it's two different formations. And I'm seeing something that it's like a new term. I'm beginning to see something called hybrid footballers. Footballers that don't just do one job anymore. They can do a number of jobs on the pitch. And Rohan quite rightly brought up Kieran Tierney, who to me at times, he looked like he was at times play three positions in that match: left centre back, a flat left back, and at times playing at a wing back. And then you have Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who he didn't really get on the ball that much, but he was really important to the way that we played. You know, if Kieran Tierney decides to stay back in the flat back four, he'll move into the middle and be an extra body in there. If Kieran Tierney decides that he's going to run up the flank and join the attack as a wing back, then Ainsley Maitland-Niles will move over more to the left and cover that. The same with Willian as well. You know, Willian, you know, on paper, he was on the right-hand side, but the amount of times that he drifted into the middle. And then you look at AUBAMEYANG as well. On paper, he's like a left winger, but he's playing the game like an inverted forward, and he's coming in and occupying the space. And at times, we've got two in the middle, two up front. And I'm really liking this fluid approach to the game. And what I was, you know, these hybrid players that are not that are happy to do more than one job. And what I'm seeing with that is that when you're happy to do more than one job, you're working for the team and you're playing for the team and not just playing for yourself. You're not being a number 10, for example, that's like, well, I'm a number 10 and I'm only going to patrol this part of the pitch and I'm going to remain static until the ball comes to me. And then I expect people to be making runs off of me. We don't play that kind of football anymore. There's more players that are willing to take one for the team and cover for teammates. If a teammate is a defender and he wants to get up the field, then we've got a midfielder, for example, that will stay back and cover. And I'm really liking this, you know. So I'm not going to go overboard because it's only one game. But I will say this as well, and I'll say this to anyone that's listening, you know. Those people that will come to you after a game like that and they say to you stuff like, well, it was only Fulham, it's only the first game. So what? You are allowed to enjoy it. You know, we scored 3 goals. I mean, there was times in that game where we had 7 on 4. Above the halfway line, we had like 7 Arsenal players and they had 4 Fulham players. And it almost went to 3 because one of their defenders, I think the left back, was so up onto the halfway line that he got taken out of the game. And, you know, I'm seeing things like players get the ball and they look to move the ball forward. You know, El Neni, under some of our previous Arsenal coaches, you know, he would get the ball and there'd be a lot of side-to-side movement and playing it safe and passing back. He's getting the ball and he's facing forward and he's moving the ball forward. And this must be encouragement from Arteta. But not only is it encouragement from Arteta, it's the players have the belief now that they can take the ball forward. Whereas they get in the ball, they don't really know what they're supposed to do. They're frightened of playing the ball forward in case they make a misplaced pass and then they're on the back foot. So what's the easiest thing? I'll pass it sideways or I'll pass it back. Now we're looking to move the ball forward. And, you know, I'm liking this and I'm hoping that playing against West Ham, we should be able to play a similar game that we did against Fulham. Because, as I said earlier, they haven't really got a goal in them. And if we can keep them hemmed back, we should be able to come away with a good goal tally from this game, I think.
Let me. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up right away. TD Shifts, man, thank you so much. You just paid our electric bill, so big up to you, man. Really appreciate that. In the last 15 games, we were top 4 quality. We beat Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea. Teams were not expecting much. Let's be honest, or had doubts for, and I think our mentality has changed with the AUBAMEYANG signing. There's a little bit of consistency issues in there for me in the last 15 games, TD. I wouldn't say we were top 4 quality all the way through the run in there during the restart, but I think we sort of found our stride towards the end and kind of really came into our own. But the Villa game was a bit of a slip up for us, I think. But overall, I would say, if you go back and you look at the restart overall, I would say, we probably were top 4 quality, and there are a couple of trophies to show for it. So, Ryan, I don't know what you want to get a comment in on that real quick.
Actually, it's a great point. I was talking about, what Rohan said about building to that. And I agree with that. The only problem, I wouldn't even say I had the only problem I have, but the only thing I will say, TV Shifts, to you is the only thing I'm worried about is just us being consistent for 38 games. Because yes, we did these things, wonderful things. Each game, I almost want to say they impressed me more and more each game. But the thing is, do you think that we have it in us to do this for 38 games, especially with the season, especially with, we're playing, someone told me, I forgot the average amount of games we play per week, but I have faith in us. It's tough with the times, the COVID times, and, doing this for 38 games and being consistent, which we have not been. So it's hard. It's hard to have that kind of. For me anyway. It's hard to have that kind of confidence when we really haven't done it. But with the AUBAMEYANG signing and with the mentality thing that we've all brought up, like, we are definitely on our way to doing that. So yeah. But read that super chat, and then I'll go into my quick Fulham review.
Well, TD, I mean, thank you again so much for the kind donation. Really appreciate this.
Maybe he's Colorado Gooner, because we have.
He might be. Are you Colorado Gooner in disguise? That's what I want to know. That's why top 4 is possible this year, and don't be surprised if we win the league this year or next under Mikel Arteta. And yes, I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment 100%. So,
he's like, a lot of fans would get on TD Shifts and be like, "You're crazy, you're nuts." No, and people in the chat kind of a little bit. Hey man, I love the positivity. As long as you're not saying we're going to win the Champions League this season, then whatever. Be as positive as you want. I love it. I love the positivity because we're going in the right direction. As long as you're not, I don't know. As long as you're not saying anything too outlandish.
What are you saying, Ryan? You think you don't think we're on for the World Cup this season, then, no?
Yeah, I don't know. Your Euros are looking good for us. I will say Euros looking good for us, but the World Cup, I don't know. But anyways, quick from Fulham. The best way I can describe Arteta and this new era is, all the Prem teams are playing checkers and Arteta's playing chess. I love the fluidity. I love the constant changing in formations. It just gets me so excited. Like, I'm a big fan of AMN. And the way he integrates AMN into the team, where he's a left wing back, but he kind of pushes him up into, he's pretty much a midfielder, which is where he wants to play. I think you're using his positives. I personally, I don't think AMN had the best game, but I think he was more like rocks and diamonds. I think he had his good moments and he had his not so good moments, but I said it before. I love our mentality. I think someone said in the chat, I'm sorry I couldn't shout you out. I don't remember who said it, but we're starting to form an identity. And that, I think, to me, that's what is most exciting. And we're starting to, like I said earlier, we're starting to put our foot on the gas and kind of hold it down and start to really, put teams to the sword, and that's good. And yeah, it's Fulham, but you know what? It's the only team we've played this season, and you can only play what's in front of you, and you can only beat what's in front of you, and that's what we did. And I'm going to celebrate, and that's it. And we move on. And there were times, and to be honest, I will say, I know Stan said he wasn't really worried. He was, and people in the chat also said that too. But I don't know. Gabriel's little back pass mishap with Leno kind of my stomach dropped a little bit. I won't lie to you. I got a little nervous, but hey, Leno's world class. That's my boy. I got Leno German blood running through my veins, and I love it. And he's a monster. And I'm just excited to bring on West Ham.
So real quick, I would be again remiss if I didn't bring up the Emi Martinez video on Instagram. If you guys didn't get a chance to check that out, he basically said goodbye to Arsenal today. Very classy video, classy guy. Emi Martinez, I think, will always live in Arsenal lore simply because of the circumstances of the season, the circumstances under which he came in this season, not just to the club, but this season specifically. Great video. If you get a chance to watch that, I would highly recommend it. I personally wish Emi Martinez nothing but the absolute best of luck for 36 matches this season. Obviously not against us, but I will be paying much closer attention to what Aston Villa do this season because of Emi Martinez. That's all I got on it. I do want to wrap this up so we can get into some questions, but I'll give the floor to you guys. Just quick thoughts on Emi Martinez and what he's meant to the club this year.
If I'm Villa, the more exciting thing in their thing is that they extended Jack Grealish. I know I have to bring it up because he's my baby. I have sleepless nights thinking about Jack Grealish in an Arsenal top. I do.
They pay me to be the host of this show to try to keep things moving along and organized, and then this clown.
Look, you're delaying it now. I was going to finish. I had a period. I was ending my statement, and I was going to talk about Martinez. And now you're just big delay for everybody. I don't know what you're doing, but I will say about Martinez. I'm probably in the minority with this, but I do wish him the best of luck. I do. I'm not going to say no. But easiest 20 mil we've ever made. I think he was good for 10 games for us. He won us the FA Cup. Congratulations. I wouldn't say I'm sad to see him go. I got to be honest. I think he could do good things in Villa, but and you could quote me on this, I think when the crowd comes back, you're going to see a different Martinez. I don't think he's the same class goalkeeper he's been with the crowd and with the environment. But, like I said, I wish no ill will towards him. I don't. But I think it had to be done. We needed money. We had to sell him. We sold him. And, it is what it is. I'm excited. And let's be honest, we all know I'm a big biased German freak. So I love me some more Leno. I can't argue for anything more. But what I will say is about the goalkeeper situation, and then you guys can take over, is I don't understand us signing a backup goalkeeper unless Arsenal really hate Matt Macy. Although I did hear that he wants to leave too, which if that's the case, and then my point is moot. But like Matt Macy must be, and I said this in a tweet. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I talked about this, but Matt Macy must be really bad if we're trying to bring in somebody else to replace him. Because to me, I also too, and that's just how I am. I don't value a backup goalkeeper, I guess, as much as the average person. So I'm willing to ride or die with Leno, but why spend more money on a backup when we have it in house? We have a lot of young and upcoming goalkeepers. We have Hein, who I think he could be something. I do not know. I cannot pronounce this. Okawando. He didn't play last season because of personal reasons. I think he's a real good shout to be in this team in a couple of years. I'm definitely missing one. I know they have Elia, but I'm not too happy. I'm not too crazy about him. But we have guys in the academy that could play. I don't see why we're not giving them chances. So that's it. I don't know. I know it's 1.5 million for this Icelandic guy. I know we talked about him, but I don't know. I don't see the point. And I'm sure everybody in the chat will blow me up, and you can blow me up on Twitter if you want. I don't really care, but let's save the money. Use the money. We need a defensive midfielder. We need an attacking midfielder. We need help in that midfield, and I think our attention should solely be on that. And if we get a backup goalkeeper like transfer deadline day for $1 million, yeah, cool, awesome, congratulations. Put the cherry on my cake. That's fine, but I just don't think it's something that we should be jumping into bed with right now.
Let me bring in TD Shifts here again, man. I don't know what else to say. I'm out of superlatives for you. Thank you. That's all I got. This
Get a room, you two.
We really appreciate it. We have the best striker in the English Premier League, Saka and Martinelli, who have been revelations. Tierney, who has the potential of being better than Robertson. Arteta is Arsenal Jesus, and Willian, who was Chelsea's second best. Call me deluded. I don't care. Mate, I'm not going to call you deluded. You've bought your way out of that one tonight for sure.
I'll go one step further. I think Willian was Chelsea's best player last season. And I know people are going to say Pulisic. I don't think Pulisic was as consistent as Willian. I think Willian was their best player. So all you deluded, all you people that want to do it, do it. I like the Willian signing.
I'm still stuck on the term that is the length. I would have rather 2 years with an option of a third, but hey, 1 game in, 2 assists, sign me up. I'll take it. So TD Shifts, thank you again, mate, for the very kind donation. We really appreciate that. So Stan, Rowan, thoughts on Emi Martinez?
I'm in shock, right? Because twice in one show, I'm actually finding myself agreeing with that guy out there. Everything you just said about Martinez and Leno, I'm so glad that, Mikel saw sense and we kept Leno, because you got to think about it, right? If we are a self-sustaining model, then that was the way it had to be. There's no point in buying or spending 22.5 million on Leno and selling him, especially in these times, for 25 million, when you've got a player in Martinez who has literally been with us from day one and hasn't cost us an investment, and we can bring in 20 million. But, it's only going to be, for me, a good deal if, 20 million, 15 million of that has to be apportioned to somewhere else in the team. If one has to be used on another goalkeeper, I said it earlier, we should be looking at a goalkeeper who's on his downward trajectory, who's going to be happy to be on the bench. So you're looking at using the minimum of funds necessary. There's no good selling, for me, Martinez, bringing in 20 million and then going out and buying a replacement for 18 million. Do you know what I mean? And then that's
exactly why David Raya from Brentford doesn't make any sense, because he's going to be at least 10 million. So you're absolutely right. It makes no sense.
So I'd be happy if we portioned maybe 5 million of the 20 million towards, if that's what you've got to do, including the finances of the deal or what have you, if 15 million is bringing us closer to party time. So if that's happening, then happy days.
And I want to say one quick thing about the goalie situation. If anybody knows a professional goalie or is a professional goalie, hit me up. I don't, and again, it could just be me. I don't necessarily it's not out of the realm of possibility of just playing Leno every game. I'm not every single game. Maybe rest him against, League 2 Carling Cup tie or something like that. But I mean, I think Leno can play a lot of these games. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but
we'd be in a situation for once where we don't have 2 good keepers. For example, when we had Cech and we had Leno, everybody knew that Leno was going to be the long-term one, but we had to cut a deal with Cech and say, well, we'll give you cup games, and it doesn't matter what the result was in the previous game. If he makes a howler, he's still going to play the next game because he's going to play in the cup games. Maybe now we can prioritize that a little bit better. And we just, if our best goalkeeper is fit, he will play. And I agree with what Ryan said. We've got so many youngsters that are coming up through the ranks. Get them on the bench. Maybe they won't get many games, but at least they'll be traveling with the first team, training with the first team, getting experience. Do it that way.
And Stan, you brought up a good point. If they're fit, and I guess that I kind of answered my own question there, because if Leno's not fit, then yeah, maybe we have to do some things. But hey, when Leno got hurt, nobody, maybe 1 or 2 people, but nobody was confident that Martinez was. I was like, season's over. That's it. Pack your bags, go home. No one was confident Martinez was going to do what he did. So why don't we give someone who's in the academy a chance? Why don't we give some of these younger guys a chance? Because Martinez has been loaned. How many times has Martinez been loaned out? 6, 7 times. So he didn't prove himself. It took him a while to actually prove himself. I'm not saying he's a bad keeper. I'm not. But why was he loaned out so much? Why wasn't he brought along for the ride a little bit? Why did we sign Czech? Why did we do all these things? So obviously Martinez wasn't where he is now back then. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation. I kind of want to see, because I think we do have a lot of academy goalkeepers. So let's roll the dice a little bit. I'm a gambling man. Let's do it. Come on. Save the money, get some midfielders, and then we won't need a goal. We can have a trash can in net. If we get a young, good defense and we get a good midfield going, I'm fine with putting a nice like an 8x4 dumpster. Like, come on.
Do it. 8x4 dumpster. Jesus. Rowan, floor is yours for Emi Martinez.
I don't want keep saying the same thing now. I agree with what these guys have said. The only thing that I think differently is that, last season became bearable, and this season we are on a high because our second choice goalkeeper performed, right? Till the time Leno is fit, Leno should be playing, no doubt. But you never know when an injury is coming in. And let's just assume that injury happened against Brighton, that Martinez came in and he had a howler against Sheffield or someone that we played after that, and that cost us the cup. And what would happen then? So I don't know. I haven't seen these academy guys enough to know whether they can perform at the highest level. So either the team knows how they're going to perform, or invest a part of it. And I agree, it shouldn't be anywhere above 5 million, but try to invest on a quality goalkeeper who shouldn't be in the prime, who should be okay being on the bench, but we shouldn't have squeaky bum time every time he's playing. Every time that guy is on the pitch, the opposition shouldn't think that in the first 30 seconds, let's have a crack, from outside. From the halfway line, let's test this guy. This guy is going to be, crapping his pants. We don't want that guy. We need someone seasoned who knows what it's about, who knows that it's comfortable here. We've got heated seats. He can have a good time. What Arsenal is traditionally known for. Give him all the comforts, get him here. Sort of just have that sort of atmosphere. Leno is our guy, and we just go ahead with him. Use this money to be reinvested. If this wasn't going to be reinvested, then we might as well have just kept Martinez, because that money isn't going to do any good to the four of us or any of our, people on the comments, or any Arsenal fan for that matter. It's not going to do any good. So that money needs to be reinvested, and we reinvest that. We get the midfielders in. That is a priority. But again, this just reinforces it. Till the time that we have a good keeper, a good backup, these are things that you need to be really competing for the league, the Champions League, things like that, right? But we're on the right track.
Can I just say one quick point as well? I mean, Arsenal should definitely learn by their previous actions, because when Leno got injured, and before they bit the bullet and gave Martinez his opportunity, by all accounts, we were literally 5 minutes away from Joe Hart. And we could be saddled with that now. Joe Hart probably has quite a big salary as well. So before they make a knee-jerk reaction and spend all of the money on another keeper, they should consider what they did before and maybe look at giving someone a chance from within. And if it doesn't work out, rectify that in January.
Yeah. Ryan, go ahead real quick. I know you wanted to say one more thing.
One more thing. I was going to say quick shout out to Jorge Ortiz. Like I said, and like he said a couple times in chat, so big up to you, baby. Easiest 20 mil we've ever made. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. End of discussion.
All right. So
I'd argue that Awobi money was easier, but there you go.
Well, yeah, But I think more we wanted to keep Iwobi, but Iwobi was just more money, and it was just like 40 mil. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. You want to give me
packed lunch and everything. Thermos, you got it. He's coming. Yeah.
All right, so we're at an hour and a half here, boys. How we feeling? Do you guys good for another little bit yet? I know we keep talking. We want to wrap this up like around an hour and 20 minutes, and we never seem to. Let's go here. Darren over in Wales. Thanks for being up this late, Darren. Really appreciate it. If you guys don't, Darren, go ahead and drop your Twitter handle in the comments. Everybody can go follow you. Darren puts out real good graphics, man. Nice job on all that stuff. So go ahead and give him a follow on Twitter if you don't already. Darren says, who was our biggest challenge now that teams have bought new players? I still say it's Liverpool and Manchester City at the top. If you mean who's our biggest challenge in terms of the teams that we're probably going to be around all season, Chelsea, United, I'd probably lean towards Chelsea with that. TD Shifts, I see your super chat up here, buddy. I will bring you up here shortly. I promise. I won't miss that. So, biggest challenge, guys.
Yeah,
Brighton. It has to be Brighton, right? Like they got a double on us. You know?
They did the double on us last year, yeah.
When they were playing Chelsea, they played well, and it was just reminding me, thank God we weren't playing this first game against Brighton. They've got to be scared now. And the next time we're playing Brighton, everybody think of me, right? Like I'm going to be scared the next time. Everybody's going to be like, oh, Brighton have lost the last 7 games. They haven't scored and they've conceded like 720 goals. And I'm going to be like, they're going to beat us, So, but that's probably a joke. Hopefully we will have a double on Brighton and we'll put them back in their place. But I think it's Chelsea. Chelsea has strengthened, and it depends on what sort of Manchester United show up and what sort of referees show up in Manchester United games. That will depend on what they're doing. But I think it's now United, Chelsea, Arsenal in that pack for the 2 spots. And those are our challengers. I think City and Liverpool are just a couple of levels above us right now.
Stan?
I think it's going to be the usual suspects that should have been the teams that gave us trouble last season, but we kind of messed it up. Liverpool, Manchester City. I'm going to say Manchester United as well. They've got the players to do some good stuff, but I'm not sure whether they've got the tactical kind of setup that we may have with Arteta, and Chelsea as well, because Chelsea have bought so well, it would be difficult for them not to have a good season. So I think that now that Mikel Arteta has settled in, and we've strengthened in some key areas already, we've definitely got a better defence. We should be back in and around those teams that I've just mentioned. And I think that we should be looking at being able to take teams like Leicester and teams like Wolves and get out of that kind of area where we've kind of been grouped into over the last few seasons, just slightly down from the big teams. I think that now we should be able to get back up into and be legitimately part of a big 6.
Yeah, Ryan, go ahead.
I mean, I'm like racking my brain because I don't want to say Liverpool and I don't want to say Man City. But like they're the most complete teams. And I think Man City's attack gives us problems. I think they could they have, Kevin De Bruyne is probably the best player in the league right now. And they could kind of work their way in our box, and they're very tricky, great dribbling. And, with the likes of David Luiz and I don't know what stands to this, the shithouse 6. I don't know. I think we could see a lot of penalties to them, but then, look on the other side of the coin with Liverpool. Liverpool, they're known to kind of just frustrate you with hard work. Salah is also tricky in the box. He tends to, I don't want to say dive, but I'm going to say dive. he tends to, dive in the box, get some penalties here and there. He hasn't done it in a while, but against us, I'm sure he'll do it. But they can also score from set pieces. Van Dijk's got a head on him and some dangerous things. But to be honest, I think our biggest challenge, I'm going to say somebody outside of the top six, and I think a team like Leeds is someone to look out for. I know I'm on the train where I'm not all about the hype. I'm not about it, but I think they're a team that will work hard. They have young guys that don't get tired, and they find ways to score. They find ways to get into the team's final third. They do things that most teams don't really see in it. And watching them play Liverpool, Liverpool had 2 penalties. Not saying that they didn't deserve to win, whatever, but all of Leeds' goals were in open play. Well, not even that. All of Liverpool's goals were not in open play. I think they had 1 corner kick goal, 1 free kick goal, and 2 penalties. All 3 of Leeds' goals were from open play, and they just found ways to get by the Liverpool D. And I know Liverpool D kind of messed up and kind of gave them a few, but I think they'd be a team to watch out for. Do I think, again, shout out to Jorge Ortiz. Do I think they're going to be Sheffield? I don't think they're going to be quite there, but I think they're going to be a team that gives us a little trouble.
All right. This is from Ian Maiti. Again, very sorry if I'm butchering it. I apologize. Do we think Arteta will change his system, even if we get a midfielder or 2 from Oklahoma? The answer is yes. I think he wants to play a 4-3-3, which is why I think Thomas Partey and Houssam Aouar are very, very, very integral to him switching over to the 4-3-3 at this point. If he has a pseudo defensive midfielder that he trusts, and that would be Thomas Partey, I don't classify him necessarily as a purely defensive midfielder, but getting him in, I think Arteta would trust him to help shield the back 4. It wouldn't be his job solely, but yes, I think the system will change. Boys, any thoughts on that?
Not really. I mean, we don't play just one system anyway, right? You're going to see, I think, a lot more of during in games. Even if we set out on, we look at the team lineup before a game and it says 4-3-3, guaranteed during the game you'll probably see at parts it will go to 5 at the back, depending on what's happening on and off the ball. So, I mean, I'm someone that I have to get used to this because I like a flat back 4. I've never really liked 3 or 5 at the back, but I'm getting used to this way of, players. There goes the tail again. Players doing, more than one job, and the formation changing. So I'm getting used to that, and it's probably the way that football is going, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't think that that Arteta can wait to get out of the system. Every time we have the ball, at one point I was thinking in the game, I was watching the Fulham game, and I was like, are we playing a back 4? Because Tierney wasn't there, and Gabriel was so much on the left, and he's left-footed as well. So I was like, are we playing a flat back 4 now? But we weren't, right? Like, I mean, then the next second I would see Tierney like running like a maniac tracking back, right? Like the commitment on that guy is what we need. He's an example. But yeah, clearly, in possession, he wants that midfield overload. He's learned from Pep, right? Or Pep's learned from him. Whoever's learned from whoever. That's the system that they play, and that's what works. Midfield overload. You control the midfield, you're more often than not going to win the game. That's it.
Ryan, go ahead. Take that. Take TD Shift super chat there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I make of the super chat is well, essentially TD Shift, and please correct me if I'm wrong. You're kind of talking about how you like Leno over Emmy because Leno got us into a good spot, and Leno is in the top 3 player of the seasons with Saka and AUBAMEYANG. And yes, and that was something I forgot to bring up. And the thing I want to say is people forget Leno was our player of the season before he went down. He was winning us games or drawing us games, getting us points week in and week out. And he was our savior in most of those games. And as soon as he got hurt, Martinez played a couple good games. Oh, we can't sell Martinez. He's a lifelong we listen. I know some of you fans are just they're Arsenal through and through. We can't let them go. We need to move forward as a club, and if we want to attract big players, if we want to get big players into our club, we're gonna have to get rid of some tough dealings. And Lone Star Loner, you say no, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, but Leno was my player of the season going before he got hurt, and then AUBAMEYANG kind of took over and just scored very important goals and doing his own thing. But I'll admit it. I have no problem admitting I'm biased. I love Leno. I've been watching German soccer since I was a wee lad, and I followed the German national team. I'm more of a. I don't want to say anything bad, but I know it's a USA podcast, but I'm more of a German national team fan than I am for US. I watch all of Germany's games. I'm very knowledgeable as far as German players go, but I'm going off on a tangent. I'm so sorry. But my point is Leno was a player of the season. People forget that. And if you don't agree with me, then that's fine. But Leno's my boy, ride or die. I mean, he's gonna bring us to the promised land. And I am so ready because he's taken Neuer's spot, and now he's taking Arsenal to the promised land.
Just to follow off the back of that, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it's a little bit like me with Bellerin. I thought the Fulham game for me, I thought Hector Bellerin showed, in my eyes, why he's still the best right back that we have at Arsenal Football Club. However, I would fully understand that if a bid came in from, say, a Paris Saint-Germain or a Barcelona, and we're talking in and around that kind of 30 million euro kind of mark, then I would understand that we would have to take that money, and that would then obviously be reinvested in parts of the team that are really screaming out, and we can cover those two positions. So I hear where you're coming from, but it's difficult. It's difficult in a rebuilding phase to get attached to players because some of them may have to go to make way. I mean, it was only 3 weeks ago that Ainsley Maitland-Niles was being linked to go to Wolves. Now we're seeing that there may be a rethink on that, and he could be a vital cog in this rebuild.
Yeah, it's a good point. Rohan, go ahead.
No, I mean, I agree with what Stan said, right? Like there are some players that need to stay. There are some players who need to go. Leno, who was the guy when we were facing like 30 shots a game, and he kept us in games, right? That's what he does. He's a quality keeper, and nobody is doubting that. What was surprising was Martinez coming in and him playing so well, because I didn't rate Martinez. For me, Martinez wasn't an option, and he's really turned it around. And it's emotional with him, right? Like he's been at the club for 10 years. He was probably our longest serving player.
Yeah,
you see him on holidays, he's wearing an Arsenal training kit in holidays. He was Arsenal through and through, right? And for him to go, it's sad, but Leno is quality. He had to be our number one, and that's the way things go sometimes. So
Yeah, this is going to be the last one for the night here. Stan had to duck out real quick. He'll be right back. We'll get his thoughts on this real quick. Lawrence is in LA. Don't want to sound petty, lads, but what did we think about the third kit against Fulham when there was no color clash with the red? Not petty at all. It's something that I actually kind of pay attention to and sort of look at the fixture list and try to figure out when, which kit we're going to wear for what match. Honestly, Lawrence, this is probably more of a marketing tactic than anything else. The home kit has been out for a while. We've already worn it. Did we wear it in the FA Cup final? Yeah. We wore it in the FA. Yeah, so we've already worn it in 2 matches. I think this was just more or less. Obviously, the away kit would have been a clash with them with the white tops. But no, I honestly think it comes down to nothing more than just wanting to get the third kit out there for people to see it. And I got to tell you, when I saw it up close and I kind of saw that it's not even really a pattern, but it's not just one solid color. I was a little put off by it. But truth be told, when I saw it, during the match on Saturday, I was like, Yeah, it's pretty sharp. I
You know,
will be
that's
purchasing all 3 kits this season. Sorry,
you know,
Ron, go ahead.
that's what I feel about this our actual away kit as well, the white one with the blood stains, right? Like, I mean, I thought when I saw that originally, I didn't like it, you know, but it's sort of grown on me. I don't know about you guys, but you know, Aubameyang did a live after the live in with Arsenal right today, and he asked this question, you know, do you guys like this or do you not like this, you know? And he was like, I actually I kind of like this, you know. I think that this kit is great, and I was like, either this guy's been paid some extra dough to advertise this away kit because nobody's liking it, but now somehow since he said it, I like it. So I like all the kits.
Yeah, no, I like it, and again, shout out to Max. And Max does bring up a good point. I like it, but my first thing I said was like, we're not blue, we're red. Chelsea's blue. I mean, it's a different kind of blue. I know I said that earlier, but we're blue. We're not blue. I mean, sorry. I would love to see us in yellow kit. I do, because we're yellow. That's just our thing. But I love it, and I'm gonna buy it, and I can't wait to wear it for our first ArseBros show. So stay tuned to that.
Stan?
I don't like any of them. I don't like any of the kits this season at all. I really like the ones from the season just gone. You know, I like the home one that I'm wearing now. I like the yellow one and the third one. I just don't like any of the kits. For me, with the red one, for example, that fly better that they've added underneath the Emirates, it says fly better. The font, to me, it just looks like the sort of the lettering that you get off those cheap market replica kits that aren't quite right. But you know, each to their own, right? You know, what I'll probably do is, I've got this last season's home. I'll probably go out and get last season's away one, the yellow one, because I haven't got that, and it might be a bit cheaper, right? Because of dead stock. So I'll probably do that.
TD shifts. I drink and I know things. That's what I do.
You know, it's funny. I was gonna call you out, but I decided not to because I knew you were probably talking about my Max. So I was like, I don't want to be a stickler. But it's kind of funny how his name is Max. So yeah, shout out to you, Max. And thank you for dropping your Twitter, because I'm gonna give you a follow as soon as this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, we're all gonna be following you at the end of this. So
everybody in the chat right now, drop your Twitters. I'm gonna go follow all of you. So drop them all.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's just get weird. I'm gonna follow everybody. Let's go.
Scrolling back through here, a lot of comments. Yeah, guys, I think that's going to be it for us. We're pushing up against 2 hours yet again. I like when I saw the Aubameyang news this morning, I was like, man, I really thought we were going to be able to keep this at right around about an hour and 20. And then when I saw that, it's like, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, not happening.
So yeah. So listen, guys, it's always good footy talk. We really appreciate everybody being out there. A couple of housekeeping things. I got to take care of one more quick bit of business here. Bear with me real quick. If you guys don't know about it, check out this little advertisement. I believe that's how they say it across the pond. It's an advertisement.
But don't go because we're coming back.
What's that?
Don't go.
What'd you say?
Don't go because we're coming back.
Yeah, we're coming back. Yeah, I got to play this real quick, but we'll be here when it's done. So hang tight.
For Gooners everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. For match highlights, interviews, and the best Arsenal videos and podcasts. Download the free Gunners app now from the App Store and Google Play.
It's actually a great app. I have it. I use it. So definitely check that out. They're also on Twitter too. You can find them on Twitter. They do a great job with that app. So a few housekeeping things. Ryan, do you want to plug ArseBros?
Yes. We're expanding. We're creating kids. We're brothers in arse, and we're just procreating like crazy. We have all these new shows. I'm going to be in charge of cups. Manny's always doing his Hot Topic, which he actually came out with Hot Topic today with him, Scunny, and Dan. Please check it out. I haven't yet, but I hear good things, so I'm excited. Max and Toby also just came out their OG podcast. It was hilarious. Two brothers arguing about Arsenal. Doesn't get much better than that. Love it. And yeah, it's just watch the ArseBros. We're great. We're awesome. We're wonderful. And like I tell people, like if they've never heard of us, it's like my OnlyFans account. So with caution, And if you see a titty, and I mean a man titty, I told you, I warned you. It's my OnlyFans account. Things happen. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't even know how I piggyback off of that, but I'm gonna damn well try. So over at the Bearded Gooner channel, we don't man, I'm gonna lose followers left and right on. I'm gonna lose subscribers left and right. I'm not showing any man boob or anything. That's not what we do.
Listen, Tannor, it's all about the angle. Anyway,
True. Actually, I got one more thing I got to throw out here. I completely forgot about this. I meant to get this out at the beginning of the night. So more housekeeping. If you look at what's scrolling at the bottom, gentlemen, please go check out Manscaped. They have an offer for you. 20% off your order and free shipping if you use the code same old. All one word, same old. Use that code. You'll get 20% off your order plus free shipping. What Manscaped is, it's going to help clean up your crime scene, fellas. You know what I mean? The ladies in this day and age, I don't really think they like the forest that we tend to grow, and Manscaped's going to help you with that.
The 70s is coming back. The 70s is coming
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Yeah. So anyway, bottom line, fellas, go to Manscaped. Enter the code same old, all one word. They will give you 20% off your order plus free shipping. It's going to help you keep that crime scene nice and tidy the next time it's being inspected. Should work out well for you. On to my channel, the Bearded Gooner channel. I am continuing to put out shows over there, working on some new content. One thing we are going to be doing over on my channel after every match, about 10 minutes or so after every match, I will post a StreamYard link on Twitter publicly. Anybody who wants to come on, you'll get your 3 to 5 minutes of fame, fan reaction. So I will post the link. You click on the link. It works from your phone, your laptop, your tablet. You just got to have a camera, a microphone, a good Wi-Fi connection, please. And I will put you on the air. It will be a first come, first serve thing. And I will run it for about an hour. So you're going to get about 3 to 5 minutes. I'll let you have your say. No abuse, no racism, all the standard stuff, guys. You know, I don't necessarily mind language that much if it's colorful, but it's got to be relatively tasteful. So I will drop the link Saturday right around 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific time. Yep. Which would also mean about 10 o'clock over in the UK, 11 o'clock in France. I know we had some folks over there watching tonight. So get involved. Still working on a title for the show. It is going to be a show on the Bearded Gooner channel, all about fan reactions. So drop the StreamYard link, click that, and I'll put you on the air again. First come, first serve. So if you don't make it on because you decided to sit there and watch the link for 15 minutes and you end up being 30th in line, chances are you're probably not going to make it. So you see the link, click it, get in the queue, and I'll get you on. That's about it. That's all I got. Anything else? Rowan, Stan?
Yeah, final words. Our captain has signed. We are unbeaten so far this season. I'd like to thank everyone now that's been with us now for the last 3 weeks. This is our third show. I just saw somebody in the chat box there, Thomas Morgan, say it's his first time watching. So make sure, Thomas, you tell all your pals about it. And I'd also like to give out my gentleman shout for this week. I'd like to give a shout out to a fella that's appeared out of nowhere. I think it's safe to say now that this channel does have its own official mascot. Yeah, so I want to give a big shout out to the man like the Arsenal luchador. I'm loving the videos that he's doing to promote the show. I'm looking forward to see what he's got for us next week. And yeah, I mean, let's hope he does a good job for us as a mascot as the Gunnosaurus does for the Arsenal.
Love it. Rowan, go ahead. Did he freeze on me? No, yeah, Rowan, go ahead.
No, that was amazing. So yeah, I mean, nothing from me. You can generally catch me here or catch me on Twitter. Give all of us a follow. Give our Arsenal, same old Arsenal USA Twitter a follow, and this channel a follow, and we're gonna follow you back because that's what we do. And yeah, I mean that's kind of it. And shout out to everyone who was here, everyone who was participating. It was great, great comments here. Gentlemen, shout out to Ray, who was here as well. His podcast is great as well, so I got a so that's here as well. And you could find me there sometime. So that's it.
Abdinasir Ali, again, butchering, very sorry. The channel is not owned in the USA. The channel is actually owned in Ireland. The owner of the channel is actually in Ireland. So they do a show, Same Old Arsenal. That show is done on UK time. They usually do that Mondays around, I think, 8 p.m. UK time. So that's 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. I feel like I'm a voiceover guy on network television right now. But yeah, so the channel is not owned here. We've been tasked with this job by the boys at Same Old Arsenal to do the North American version, which we're striving very hard to live up to some very high expectations. Those guys do a great job. So that's it for us. I want to thank everybody in the chat box. Once again, everybody for watching live. We were up to, at one point this evening, gentlemen, 98 live views. 98 live viewers at one time were watching us. So do me a favor, everybody. As the boys already said, please tell your friends about us. Get us out there. We would love to eclipse triple digits next week. Hopefully we've got a little bit more good transfer news to talk about. Obviously, we all had our opinions on West Ham. I think we're all pretty much in agreement there. Should be 3 points to the Arsenal. And that is going to do it for us. Everybody that's going to watch on replay, I'm sorry I didn't mention you guys earlier, but thank you all very much. We greatly appreciate all of the support. And that's going to be it, fellas. We're out of here. As always, it's been good footy talk.